What is up, everybody? Jordan here with the deck box once again, coming back to you with a new Forbidden Light deck. This is one that I don't think many people have been talking about, if at all. I don't think many people are really talking about Zygarde too much. I still personally think it's going to be a great card in the future. I think it's a great card now, with the way our meta is, with tons of GXs out. So I think it could really have a chance. So the list I'm looking at today is actually a Zoroark Zygarde list, and it's one that we've covered in the past with our just straight up deck profiles before the set was released. But now, excuse me, I'm going to briefly run through it and then grab a match on the ladder just to kind of see how it does. So basically the core of this deck is going to be Zygarde attacking, Zoroark discarding energies and keeping up the pace of continuous draws. Excuse me. And between that, Zygarde's GX attack, which of course prevents GXs from attacking him, paired with Bonnie, just repeating that over and over, that should bring us the win. So, excuse me, guys, sorry about that. Got a little clogged throat. So I'm going to hop right into this list and go through each card. So of course, with it being a Zoroark deck, we are running a 3-3 Zoroark line. I'd love to bump this to 4-4, but I don't think it's super necessary. The main thing we're going to focus on is trade. Once during your turn before you attack, you may discard a card from your hand. If you do, draw 2 cards. So we're going to be, the idea is to discard our fighting energy because of course Zygarde can accelerate his own energy as long as there's some in the discard pile. And then of course, Riotous Beating is not a bad attack either. You know, Zoroark can hit for potentially 120 to 150, so not too bad in a tight spot if you need it, if you don't have a Zygarde set up. Then hopping down to Zygarde, of course, this is the, I guess the main star of the deck. His first attack, Cell Connector, does 50 damage. You get to attach 2 fighting energy from your discard pile to this Pokemon. So if you go second on your first turn, you have 4 energy on your Pokemon essentially by the end of your turn, which is insane, because then on your next turn you're able to do the GX attack, you're able to do Land's Wrath, and those just, you know, you'll see how strong they are. So Land's Wrath does 130, but Verdict GX does 150. And the cool thing about Verdict GX is it prevents the damage done to this Pokemon by attacks from Pokemon GX and Pokemon EX during your opponent's next turn, which is insanely good. You know, it defends him completely, 100%. You can't touch him unless you're using a non-GX, which really the main non-GXs right now would be Mew as attack, but you know, not hitting weakness or anything, and excuse me, and Garbodor here and there, you know, if it gets played. So that's really solid. But on top of that, you know, we've talked about this in the past, you have Bonnie, which allows you to reuse the GX attack. As long as there's a stadium card in play, then you discard that stadium, then Zygarde can reuse his GX attack. So you can spam this GX attack, you know, and just keep your opponent from attacking you, basically. So it's really, really solid, and that's kind of what our focus is going to be. Moving on to some of the support Pokemon, we of course play one of the Baby Buzzwole. This for 2 reasons. One, it's a nice single prize attacker, depending on the circumstances. And with the first attack, Sledgehammer for 1 fighting energy, it can one-shot a Zoroark if the situation is right. Then on top of that, it can also one-shot a Lele as long as Diancie is out and Choice Band is attached. So really good numbers there with a 1-prize attacker. Then we have our damage modifiers. Diancie, of course, adds 20 damage for our fighting Pokemon. Regirock adds 10, so that's an additional 30 for all of our Pokemon's attacks, which of course makes Zygarde that much better because he's now up to 180. Then you add a Choice Band, he's up to 210. So he's taking down all the stage 1s and all the big basics in the game. Then we play 1 Mew EX. This Mew will be to copy Zoroark's attack to one-shot Buzzwoles. That is the key for it. And of course now Necrozmas, you know, that's a problem too. So Mew is there to take care of those situations. And then of course we have 2 Tapu Lele to be able to draw our supporters from our deck with Wonder Tag. Then from there, we only run 2 Field Blower, simply because there's not a ton of room for it. And really, the main part, or the main time that we need Zoroark is at the beginning of the game, getting those energies in there. That's kind of what he's in there for. It's just kind of icing on top if we get to keep them for late in the game. Then I played 3 Max Elixir to be able to potentially speed up a second Zygarde while the first one is in the act of attacking. Then 4 puzzle time. With it being a Zoroark list, we like to recycle as many cards as we can. Puzzles allows us to do that, of course, making us a super strong deck. Then we play 4 Ultra Ball, pretty self-explanatory. We need to dig through our deck and find our Pokemon, and that's going to be our quickest way to do it. Then, we talked about stadiums before with Bonnie. The 2 that we're playing are Brooklet Hill and Parallel City, and we are, of course, playing 3 Brooklet Hill and 2 Parallel City. Brooklet Hill will allow us to search out our Pokemon. That's going to be our early game stadium, and then Parallel will, of course, shrink up our opponent's bench. And again, that's a big deal right now because you are potentially messing up, what's the name? A Malamar list. That's kind of big right now because the more Malamar they have, the stronger they are. And if you can shrink up their bench to where they can't either add more or it gets rid of a couple, it's really, really helpful. And then, of course, there's other decks such as Buzzwole, such as other Zygardes that are relying on Diancie and Regirock. They may have to get rid of those or an Octillery or something, and it could really, really mess up their game. Moving on to supporters, 2 Bonnie, as we already talked about. And then I played just the 1 Bridget, which I know is really, really weird because typically Zoroark list we're going to play 3 Bridgets, 4 Bridgets, but I feel like 1 is okay because your main attacker is a big basic. You have a stadium to get him out, so this is just kind of a little bit of extra just in case for the right circumstances. Then for draw supporters, only have 5 between 2 Cynthia, 2 N, and 1 Sycamore. The reason it's so low is because we do have Zoroark, guys, so I feel like that should help us. Plus Zygarde can accelerate energy from the discard, so it's not imperative every turn that we draw into an energy as long as we have a DCE out there. And then we have 3 Guzma, pretty self-explanatory, wanting to take the knockouts that we want to take, and Guzma allows us to do that. And then for our tools, we have 3 Choice Band, 1 Float Stone, just in case we get something stuck in the active. And then we close out with 4 DCE and 8 Fighting Energy. So now, guys, we're going to hop onto the ladder and see how we can do. I will say, I've been playing with the other Zygarde list for a while, just straight Zygarde, and I feel like this one's a little bit more, a little bit less of a contender compared to just straight Zygarde. I don't know, there's just something about it doesn't seem to run as smoothly. Maybe it's because it's stage 1 paired with the basic as opposed to just a basic, but we'll see. Maybe things have changed a little bit. If I remember correctly, we were playing against some sort of grass and dark, so I imagine it's going to be a a Zoroark Golisopod list, no doubt. So we will do our absolute best. I think we have a pretty good shot since we run fighting. We should be able to take them on pretty well. So let's see what we prized. We prized one Zoroark GX, 1 Tapu Lele, not a big deal. So that's 2. 1 Brooklet Hills, 3. Excuse me. Sorry, guys. Prized our 1 Float Stone? Yeah, we prized our 1 Float Stone, that's 4. Prize DC is 5, and a Fighting Energy is 6. Alright. So, what we're gonna do... I hate to do this. But we do have puzzles, so we can get them back. I'm gonna grab a Lele, and then I'll grab our 1 Sycamore and just dig. Because I want to get things set up as much as possible. And this is the way to do it. Alright, so we get a DCE, we get Elixir, that's great. Put this on here. Gonna attach this, and I'm gonna pass. So really good start. We got the 3 energy on. Next turn we'll have our 4th on, which is great. The only downside is the active is of course stuck there, So there's always the option of just putting Zygarde up and swinging for 50, but I don't really like that. I think that's a poor play. What I would love is to top deck another Elixir, because then we could possibly hit an Elixir onto Zygarde and then just put the DC on Buzzwole and retreat. And if my opponent doesn't do anything, this is going to be a very fast game. In which case, of course, we will play another. Okay, he was using Brooklyn Hill, taking a peek to see what he has. Okay, so we have a parallel city. That's alright. The biggest downside is we won't have our Diancie or our Regirock. However, we do hit weakness on the stack, at least the Zoroark portion, so I think we're fine. It's going to Lele for a Bridget, most likely. Excuse me. He just loves his deck checks, doesn't he? So did the Bridget, probably going to grab a couple Wimpod and another Zoroark. I feel like I know this guy's handle. True Dead. It's not a dead draw guy, is it? Sounds familiar. Okay, so we're just gonna go hardcore on it. We're gonna attach to the Zygarde there. All right, perfect. We have a Guzma for next turn, so he'll probably evolve into a Zoroark or something. That's perfectly fine. We'll take him out. Excuse me. Alright, we have an Ultra Ball. Sweet. Put him out there. So the main thing we need to keep in mind, so like, obviously, if we use our GX attack, then we're safe from Gliscopod. It's not going to be a problem. But we are weak to grass. So if they manage to Guzma around us or something, then we could be looking at a problem. Because they'll definitely take the 2 prizes then. So we have to make sure that our best Zygarde is in the active so they can't just kind of whip around and, you know, switch our Pokemon out to do these one shots. Time. He's going to use a puzzle. I don't know if he's using single or double. He's already used 1 single. He used 2 singles. Okay. Interesting. Very interesting. Alright. So we get our Brooklyn Hill back. That is great. I'm going to add... Don't really need him right now, but... Here, we'll grab another Zygarde. Grab Zoroark. And I'm going to use Verdict so he can't bring his Gliscopod up this turn and do some crazy stuff. There's our Floatstone, that's really helpful. So the great thing is now we also have a Guzma for this next turn, Guzma Floatstone. So that definitely helps us quite a bit. Because we'll be able to take another 2 prizes. Yeah, for sure, because we can take down Mew. And then I guess close out by taking another Zoroark or a Lele or something. And of course I do have Bonnie in hand, so I suppose that'd probably be the best option. But I would need to Brooklyn Hill for Diancie first. Get Diancie out so I can swing for 170. Of course I have Choice Band, I guess I can just do that. But I like getting Diancie down. And so far, I mean, we have not seen Zoroark at all, and there is the victory. Sweet. I really like how this deck works. It seemed like it went pretty consistently there. You know, to be fair, the Zoropod isn't exactly like a top-notch kind of deck at the moment. But yeah, no, I think that went pretty well. I know it ended super early. Normally I keep going, but I'm actually leaving to go out of town in 5 hours. It's 3:30 in the morning, and I have to leave in 5 hours. We're going to Minnesota for vacation. So pretty sad that I had to miss Madison, but get to go to Minnesota, which is nice. So since that was so short, I bought these couple packs real quick. I'll open these up, and then as usual, I'm going to go back and show you guys the list. But the only reason I'm okay with not playing another game after that is because we knew, like, our next turn we were taking our next 2 prizes, and then we just had 2 more take after that, and it was kind of set in stone with our Guzma there. So sweet, we got a Malamar. That's actually not too bad. I actually have a ton of those online that I probably need to trade because I don't need more than 4. Yeah. Okay. And Magnezone. I don't think I actually have very many of that Magnezone. Not like it's very necessary. But anyway, let me hop over here to the list and show you guys. So here it is. Like I said, really what you're going to want to focus on is just getting those energies in the discard. And it seems like we had a fairly quick and an easy matchup there in Zoropod. So anyway, guys, as I mentioned before, if you're in Madison, first of all, thank you for watching. But second of all, enjoy yourselves. If you're playing in the tournament, have fun, be respectful, and bring home some wins. So good luck with that. The rest of you, again, same. Thank you for joining me for this video. If you've enjoyed it, please be sure to leave a like. Let me know if you give this list a try or Zygarde at all. It's, like I said, it's a card that I think is just insanely good. I win most of the matchups that I play online with it and IRL with friends. So I don't get why people aren't really messing with it. So let me know your thoughts about Zygarde in the comments. That's what I'm really curious to know from you guys after this video. So yeah, so leave a like, leave a comment, and as usual, if you haven't already, please be sure to subscribe. I think we're kind of teetering on the edge of getting to 300 this weekend, so that would be awesome if we could do that, guys. So as usual, I have been Jordan with the Deck Box, where I want to know what's in your box. I'll see you next time, guys.